Unified Medical Language System, UMLS Metathesaurus License, Appendix 1, UMLS Source Vocabularies. Appendix 1 of the UMLS Metathesaurus License includes information about each of the current Metathesaurus source vocabularies. You can access the Metathesaurus license from the UMLS homepage. Click on the Metathesaurus license link in the left sidebar. The UMLS Metathesaurus license has three parts: the license agreement for the use of the UMLS Metathesaurus, Appendix 1, UMLS Metathesaurus Source Vocabularies, Appendix 2, SNOMED CT Affiliate License Agreement. Click on the print icon to view or print a PDF version of the entire license and its appendices. Your usage of each source vocabulary is subject to the terms of this license agreement, including any usage restriction categories that may apply. This tutorial explores Appendix 1 and describes the usage restriction categories for the source vocabularies. To access Appendix 1, scroll to the bottom of the license agreement. Click Accept and Continue. Appendix 1 is a complete list of current Metathesaurus source vocabularies, updated biannually with each Metathesaurus release. You can find descriptions of each usage restriction category in Section 12 of the license agreement. Note: the Metathesaurus data files encode each source vocabulary's usage restriction category as a source restriction level, SRL, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9. In the Metathesaurus data files, source restriction level 9 applies to SNOMED vocabularies. In the Metathesaurus license, Appendix 2 defines the terms for use of SNOMED vocabularies. Let's scroll down this page to see the first few source vocabularies. Source vocabularies appear in alphabetical order by their Metathesaurus data file version source abbreviation, VSAB. Each entry includes the name of the source vocabulary, a bibliographic citation, contact information, and when available, a web address. Each entry also includes a link to additional source vocabulary information created by NLM describing its purpose, content, and use. This source vocabulary, HCPCS 2011, has no additional usage restrictions. Its category restriction level is 0. Only the general terms of the license agreement apply to its use in an application. This source vocabulary, UMD 2011, has Category 1 usage restrictions. Category 1 restrictions prohibit translating this source vocabulary into another language and producing any derivative works from this source vocabulary. Click on the Category 1 restrictions link to view its explanation in Section 12 of the license agreement. This source vocabulary, CPM 2003, has Category 2 usage restrictions. Category 2 restrictions permit using this source vocabulary for research or development. Category 2 restrictions prohibit translating this source vocabulary into another language and using the source vocabulary in applications that create information containing data from this source vocabulary. Click on the Category 2 restrictions link to view its explanation in Section 12 of the license agreement. This source vocabulary, CPT 2011, has Category 3 usage restrictions. Category 3 restrictions permit a licensee to use this source vocabulary internally for research, product development, and statistical analysis only. Category 3 restrictions prohibit the use of this source vocabulary for routine patient data creation, incorporation into any publicly accessible computer-based information system, publication, translation, or creation of derivative works, selling, leasing, licensing, or otherwise making this source vocabulary material available to any unauthorized party, and duplication for any purpose except for backup or archival purposes. Click on the Category 3 Restrictions link to view its explanation in Section 12 of the License Agreement. This source vocabulary, ICD-10-CM, has Category 4 restrictions if you use it within the United States. If you use ICD-10-CM outside the United States, you need to adhere to Category 3 restrictions. Category 4 restrictions prohibit translating the source vocabulary into another language, prohibit changing the content of the source vocabulary, limit the use and distribution of this source vocabulary to the United States, and permit distribution of this source vocabulary only in combination with other UMLS metathesaurus content. Click on the Category 4 Restrictions link to view its explanation in Section 12 of the License Agreement. For some EdCT sources, the terms in Appendix 2 apply. Recall that Appendix 2 is the SNOMED-CT Affiliate License Agreement. The UMLS Source Release Documentation page is a great resource for detailed information about each source vocabulary. You can access this through the Documentation menu and the General submenu. By selecting the Restriction Categories tab, you can browse the UMLS source vocabularies by restriction categories. In Appendix 1 of the UMLS Metathesaurus License, you will find information about each of the current Metathesaurus source vocabularies, as well as their usage restrictions. It is important to read and understand the entire license and its appendices. Please contact the individual source vocabularies if you need to use their data beyond the UMLS license restrictions. For more information about the UMLS, go to the UMLS Quick Start Guide or the UMLS website. Please provide feedback on this tutorial by filling out this short form.